Your bank account, your investments, your student loan, they're all tucked behind digital locks. For decades, those locks have been strong enough to laugh in the face of even the beefiest supercomputers. The math problems behind them are so intense they'd take millions of years to crack. But imagine someone shows up with a skeleton key that can open any lock instantly. Where does that leave your money? That's the hair-raising threat and the jaw-dropping promise of quantum computing for your finances. And no, this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. It's already unfolding, not just in secret labs with blinking lights, but inside the boardrooms of the world's biggest banks. They're racing to master a kind of tech that doesn't just bend the old rules of computing. It tosses the whole playbook out the window. But this story isn't about them, it's about you. Because the same machine that could turn today's encryption into tissue paper also promises a new financial system that's lightning fast, weirdly fair, and locked down by the laws of physics themselves. Imagine a world where your savings, your loans, your insurance, all of it, is tailored perfectly to you, not the clunky averages of people vaguely like you. This is quantum finance. And today, we're going to slice through the hype and the jargon to see what it really means for your wallet, your security, and your financial future. Now, before we talk about what's coming, we need to peek at the cracks in the system we're using right now. On the surface, everything feels slick. You tap your phone, your coffee's paid for, your watch buzzes with a transaction alert. Looks instant, right? But behind that polished banking app is a system that's basically held together with duct tape. Most of it was designed decades ago, and it's groaning under the pressure of billions of daily transactions. Let's start with the illusion of speed. When you Venmo your roommate, the money looks like it teleports instantly. In reality, it's stuck in a kind of digital purgatory. The banks just mark down an IOU, while the real movement of money gets bundled up and shuffled around in batches, like a post office refusing to deliver your letter until the truck is full. That delay costs time, it costs money, and it means a whole bunch of middlemen get paid while you wait. Then there's the big one. Security. All your accounts and transactions rely on a form of encryption that's basically a giant math puzzle. Cracking it with a normal computer would take longer than the universe has existed. But here's the catch. Hackers don't need to break it today. They're already scooping up encrypted data, storing it, and waiting for the day quantum computers mature enough to crack it open like a fortune cookie. It's called Harvest Now, Decrypt Later, and it's one of the scariest phrases in cybersecurity right now. And finally, there's the fairness problem. The way banks and insurers make decisions about you, like your mortgage rate or your car insurance premium, boils down to blunt averages. They stick you in a giant statistical box with people who share your age, your zip code, your credit score. Maybe you're the safest driver in your city, but if your neighborhood has a high accident rate, you pay more anyway. Maybe you're great with money, but one slip years ago means you're treated like a risk. Forever. The system doesn't see you, it just sees your shadow. So here we are. A financial system that's slower than it looks, protected by locks with an expiration date, and making decisions with a ruler so blunt it might as well be a club. And that's exactly why quantum finance isn't just some nerdy tech upgrade. It's a total reset button on how money moves, how it's secured, and how fairly it treats you. For the last 70 years, the story of computing has been kind of predictable. Make the parts smaller, make them faster, squeeze more power onto a chip. That's how we got from refrigerator-sized machines in the 1950s to the supercomputer you keep in your pocket today. But whether it's your grandpa's mainframe or your shiny new iPhone, they're all still speaking the same language, bits. A bit is basically a light switch, on or off, 1 or 0. Every selfie, every email, every cat video is just an absurdly long string of those ones and zeros. Regular computers are like speed readers chewing through them letter by letter, insanely fast, but still one at a time. Now, imagine instead of just building a faster car, someone handed you a teleporter. That's the kind of leap we're talking about with quantum computing. Here's where your brain gets a little wobbly. Quantum computers don't use bits, they use qubits. Thanks to a bizarre, wonderful trick of physics called superposition, a qubit doesn't have to choose between being a 0 or a 1. It can be both at the same time. The go-to analogy is a coin flipping through the air. While it spins, it's not really heads or tails. It's a blur of both until it lands. A qubit lives in that blur, that cloud of possibilities, until it's measured. But wait, the real magic trick isn't superposition. It's entanglement. When two qubits are entangled, they're basically cosmic BFFs. Doesn't matter if one is in your lab and the other's chilling on the moon, the moment you check one, you instantly know the state of the other. They move as one system, spooky and inseparable. Now, stack this power. 2 classical bits, 4 possible combos, but you can only look at one at a time. 2 entangled qubits, they can hold all 4 combos at once. Add a third, and now you're juggling 8 possibilities. A fourth 16. Exponential growth, baby. A few hundred qubits could represent more possibilities than atoms in the entire universe. Yeah, it's a headache, but in the best way. And this isn't about replacing your laptop. You won't be checking TikTok on a quantum computer. These things are specialists. They don't care about Instagram filters. They care about impossible problems. The kind where you're searching through a gazillion possibilities for the best answer. Picture this. A delivery company has 50 trucks and 50 cities to cover. The number of possible routes is so absurd that a regular computer would short-circuit just thinking about it. A quantum computer, though, it can explore those routes simultaneously, like skimming through every page of a billion-page book at once. Or imagine trying to find a single name in an unsorted phone book with a billion entries. A classical computer flips through one by one. On average, 500 million checks before it finds the right one. A quantum computer runs an algorithm that lets it jump almost straight to the answer, saving an insane amount of time. And guess what industry is made up almost entirely of these mind-bending optimization problems? Finance. Want the perfect portfolio mix? Need to figure out the actual risk of someone applying for a loan? Trying to spot the one sketchy transaction hidden among millions of normal ones? These aren't jobs classical computers do well. They're jobs quantum computers were born for. They're not just faster calculators, they're possibility engines, and they're about to be aimed directly at your wallet. So we've got a financial system full of cracks and quirks, and suddenly this shiny new quantum computer shows up like a superhero in a lab coat. The question is, what does all this brain-bending science actually mean for you? The person just trying to keep your paycheck safe, your savings growing, and your insurance from eating you alive? It comes down to 3 big things: keeping your money secure, making your financial products way smarter, and finally, building a system that feels, well, fair. Let's start with the thing that keeps you awake at night. Security. Right now, your digital life is protected by a math trick, encryption based on the difficulty of factoring enormous numbers. It works because even the fastest supercomputer would take centuries to crack one of these codes. But then along came Peter Shor, a mathematician who, back in 1994, cooked up an algorithm for a quantum computer that could factor those giant numbers like they were middle school math homework. Suddenly, the unbreakable locks protecting your bank account, your texts, and even government secrets look a lot more like dollar store padlocks. This is the infamous quantum threat. Hackers are already grabbing encrypted data today, betting they can crack it wide open tomorrow when the machines get strong enough. Sounds terrifying, right? But here's the twist. The same weird physics that makes the threat also gives us the defense. Enter quantum cryptography. The first line of defense is something with a very sci-fi name: quantum key distribution, or QKD. Imagine sending a secret safe key, not written on paper, but hidden inside a single photon of light. Thanks to the quirks of quantum mechanics, if anyone tries to sneak a peek at that photon, it immediately tattles by changing itself. It's like a lock that self-destructs if touched by the wrong hands. That means you know instantly if your communication line has been compromised. No guessing, no hoping. Proof. Of course, QKD isn't ready to run the entire financial world yet. It's expensive and distance limited. So in the meantime, cryptographers are racing to roll out something called post-quantum cryptography, or PQC. These are new encryption systems tough enough to stand against tomorrow's quantum computers, but able to run on the devices we already have. Regulators are treating this transition like a countdown clock. Banks like HSBC are already experimenting with quantum safe tech, and you're going to start hearing that phrase more and more. Translation. Your bank is slowly swapping digital locks for quantum fortresses. Once your money is locked up tighter than Fort Knox with lasers, the real fun begins, making your money work harder for you. Financial products today are clunky and one-size-fits-all. Your savings account pays the same sad rate whether you're a scrappy college kid or a millionaire. Your credit score, That stubborn three-digit number decides your future based on outdated snapshots of your past. Quantum computing flips the script. Think about savings and investments. Right now, banks throw you into the same bucket as thousands of others. But with quantum optimization, your bank could see your entire financial picture, spending habits, risk tolerance, market trends, even subtle shifts in global economics, and design a product tailored like a bespoke suit. Imagine your retirement fund quietly adjusting itself overnight to dodge risk and snag hidden opportunities no classical computer could ever calculate. It's not just squeezing out a tiny bit more interest, it's financial products that actually fit you. Loans get an even bigger glow-up. Today, credit scores ignore nuance. Freelancers, gig workers, immigrants, or anyone with an unconventional financial path gets punished. A quantum system could stitch together a holistic view: your income stability, industry trends, local economy, even your spending rhythm. Instead of looking backward at old debts, it predicts your real ability to repay. The result? Millions of people locked out of credit today suddenly get access tomorrow. And for everyone else, loan approvals could shrink from weeks of paperwork to practically instant. And then there's insurance, that bluntest of blunt instruments. Premiums today are basically statistical guesswork. You pay not just for your own risk, but for the whole messy group you've been lumped into. Quantum computing could change that completely. Auto insurers could model entire cities of traffic in real time, pricing your premium based not just on how you drive, but where and when you drive. Safer roads at quieter times? Your cost goes down. Home insurance could stop being a generic flood zone equals high premium game and start reflecting the exact slope of your property, the defenses you've installed, and the shifting climate models for your area. In short, quantum models mean fairness. Your premiums reflect your reality, not just an average. So, the big picture? Quantum tech doesn't just patch up the old financial system, it rebuilds it into something more secure, more personalized, and finally, more just. Your money stops feeling like it's stuck in a machine built for the 1970s and starts acting like it belongs in the future. By now, you've seen just how wild this new financial world could get. Locks that hackers can't touch, money products tailored like custom sneakers, and insurance that finally feels like it makes sense. And honestly, that's just a glimpse. If you're into seeing how tech reshapes money before it reshapes you, now's the time to hit subscribe and ring that little bell. I break down big ideas like this every week so you'll always be ahead of the curve. Now, before we all start celebrating unhackable bank accounts and perfectly fair loans, let's pump the brakes. There's a catch, and that catch is time. Think of quantum finance today like the internet in the early 90s. The foundation was there, the first awkward websites existed, but nobody was binge-watching Netflix or ordering sushi at 2 a.m. yet. We're in the same place now with quantum computing. The basic principles are proven, but the machines themselves are still kind of clumsy. Scientists call this the NISQ era, Noisy Intermediate Scale Quantum. Translation: these computers are powerful but finicky. A tiny vibration or temperature change can throw them off, which makes building a large, fault-tolerant machine, the kind that could shred today's encryption, an engineering Everest that's likely still a decade or more away. So what's actually happening right now? Two big things. First, defense. That harvest now, decrypt later threat has regulators and banks scrambling to upgrade security before the storm hits. Governments are already mandating a move to post-quantum cryptography, with many aiming to get there by 2030. You'll soon see banks bragging about being quantum safe, which is code for "we've updated our locks for the future." The second thing is innovation. Financial giants like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and HSBC aren't just waiting around. They've set up quantum research labs and are already running pilot projects. Some are experimenting with hybrid systems, pairing noisy quantum machines with classical ones, to test out bond trading models or portfolio optimization. In fact, HSBC and IBM already showed a real quantum advantage on bond predictions. These tests are like race cars zipping around the track, tuning the engines for when the tech is ready to go full speed. And while we're on the subject, let's clear something up. You may have stumbled across something online called the Quantum Financial System, or QFS. Sounds impressive, but most of what's out there is hype and conspiracy theory. The idea of mixing quantum with blockchain and AI is real and worth exploring. But the instant, overnight global financial reset you read about on forums? That's not what central banks are building. It's important to separate actual progress from internet mythology. The bigger vision, though, is thrilling. Imagine regulators one day being able to simulate the entire global economy in real time, spotting bubbles before they burst, catching risks before they spiral into crisis. That's the dream of quantum finance at scale. Economic meltdowns could become avoidable instead of inevitable. So, how do you prepare for a shift this big? First, start paying attention to your bank. If they're talking about being quantum safe or experimenting with new security, that's a good sign they're not asleep at the wheel. Second, get comfortable with the lingo. You don't need to solve quantum equations, but if you know PQC means post-quantum cryptography and not some random marketing buzzword, you'll spot which players are actually doing the work. Third, remember this isn't happening in isolation. Quantum power will mix with AI and blockchain to create new kinds of financial tools and networks. So when you hear companies talking about AI roadmaps, ask yourself how quantum might slot in next. And finally, don't buy into the hype machines. If someone's promising you instant riches from a secret quantum trading bot or a mysterious QFS currency, run. The real revolution is a marathon, not a magic trick. At the end of the day, this is about moving from a financial system built on guesswork to one built on precision. From locks that are just hard to pick, to locks that physics itself refuses to open. From credit scores that box you into a category, to financial products as unique as your fingerprint. From insurance priced on clumsy averages, to costs tied directly to your reality. The transition is already underway. Banks are laying down quantum-safe foundations, researchers are test-driving new algorithms, and regulators are preparing the system for impact. This isn't sci-fi, and it isn't just Wall Street jargon. The quantum leap is real. It's not a question of if, it's only a matter of when.